Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Tucker over on Twitch. Hello. And we have Wendy on Twitch. And we have Matt, Lucas Literature over on Twitch. Ah, cool. Dwight Bailey over on the YouTube. Johnny and Joy over on YouTube. Those new strings sounding good. Yes, thank you. Last night, for anybody tuning in that wasn't here last night, I restrung this Parker Fly in about, I don't know, 12 minutes. These things are pretty crazy guitars. Yes, they are. Mike Plays Bass is hanging over on Twitch. I'm at Angelo's setting up his drums to track EP tomorrow. Cool. Hello, Angelo. Alright. Let's see who else is hanging. Alright, I think I got everybody so far. If you're hanging in the back, say hi. Everybody is super, super cool here. Maybe you'll meet some new friends. If you want to meet new friends. Some people don't. So I think I figured out the audio issue. It wasn't the Axe Effects, it wasn't the guitar, it wasn't the computer. It wasn't even the USB cable. It was the dongle between the iMac and the USB cable. So annoying. Fun with the effects here. And the guitar synth, it's all working. This guitar is an animal. It's the Adrian Blue signature model Parker Fly, and it has all kinds of fun gadgets built in. We can actually have a little acoustic guitar sound. I believe it's this position. Little piezo. Fun stuff. Do a little playing for you. See how this goes tonight. Hey, everybody. Oh, let's see. Let's see who's hanging out here. That note was so powerful, the stream froze for a second. Oh, that's great. Yeah, this guitar definitely is one of my favorites. It's such a great guitar. Oh, man. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. Good to see you on. Let's see. There's a bunch of people jumped on that I missed. And let's check out some of the comments. So, let's see. Where did I leave off? Guess there's some chatter between each of you all here. Dwight Bailey, hello. And let's see. Dwight, I post a lot of covers on Instagram, but I'm very limited here. Oh, I'll have to check it out over on Instagram. Yeah, I didn't see that before. All right. Oh, wow. Thanks, Paul. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm watching NAMM coverage. See you again. Ah, okay. Yeah, NAMM is cool. Would have been nice to go, but nah, not this year. And for anybody watching that doesn't know what NAMM is one of the largest music conventions, retail music conventions in the world. So basically, every retailer under the sun comes out to display their stuff. But this year, Fender, Gibson, and Paul Reed Smith did not go. So that is a huge chunk of the show that is not there. And oddly enough, I never went to those booths until the last day because it was always a madhouse. And yeah, it's just ridiculous. Since they opened it to the public, which has been for a while now. It used to be you had to be in the business, you had to be either an artist or a retailer to get in. So I would go as an artist or a retailer because I was both. And it was very cool. But then when they opened it up to the public, it got out of hand because there's a lot of rock stars there and it became more of a meet and greet thing, which is awesome for everyone. But it turns out to be a bit zooish. Hello from Florida. Hello from New Jersey, Stephen. Thanks for coming by. Going live every day in April to celebrate this wonderful piece of wood with strings. And not just this one in particular, all of them. It's Guitar Month, International Guitar Month. A little coffee, very good. Yeah, International Guitar Month, going live every day. Thank you everybody who's been hanging with me, especially my Twitch people. If you have a Twitch account, please go over to Twitch and sign up. I had a few people that were like, oh, I'll just sign up right now. And they did. It takes literally 30 seconds to make an account. And if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can officially, subscribe to my Twitch channel. And it doesn't cost you anything if you have a Prime account. You could sign in and subscribe for free to the Twitch account through your Prime account. And I get some of Jeff Bezos' money, which is awesome. Doesn't cost you anything. And every time you subscribe on Twitch, I make some money. And again, it doesn't cost anybody anything, and it helps me out, and it keeps these streams going. I don't know what I'll do for May, because I am not planning on going live every night. I know some people have private messaged me and asked, and they're like, what are we going to do? You're not going to go live every night in May? I'm like, no, this was just a one-time thing. But I'll probably do it once or twice a week. I used to do a weekly show where I played and only talked for like 15 minutes and played for the rest of the hour. So it was an hour show and I talked for about 15 minutes. And now the talking goes on for like 2 hours and there's like playing for like 5 minutes. And I don't know, the other night I didn't even play. Especially last night because I had such issues with my audio, but we figured it out. I figured it out. Yeah. What does Jamie ask? Let's jump down to here. Through the Amazon Prime Video app. I believe so. It was a little confusing for us when Wendy went and joined, so I'm not sure. But give it a shot. I believe it's through the Amazon Prime Video app. And there should be, if you have a smart TV, a Twitch app, and then through the Twitch app on your phone, you can link the two together somehow. You have to link your Prime account to your Twitch account, and then when you hit subscribe, it comes out of your Prime membership, free though, because you have the membership. So basically what happened is Jeff Bezos and Amazon bought Twitch. I don't know what year it was. And then what they did was really cool. They actually promoted more towards musicians to come on live. And I really just didn't want to deal with it because I was trying to build my YouTube channel and also trying to get other things going. But my good friend Larry Mitchell and of course my wife were both like, "You got to get on the Twitch thing. Got to try it." So I was trying it, and I didn't really understand it. I had been streaming to it for a while, almost a year or two, and I finally dove in headfirst on April 1st, and it paid off. It's really cool. So I think there's like some neat features that people over there hanging out can accumulate points, and if I do any like giveaways, I can base it off of how many people comment or who's the top commenter or longest subscriber. There's all kinds of contests, which I don't know how to do yet, so I'm really not gonna focus on that right now. I gotta learn all of this stuff. But that's what Mike is for, right? Mike plays bass. He's gonna give me some pointers, and of course anybody else who knows the ways of the Twitch. Sell me the blue one. No, I will not. I'm never selling it. Thank you, Jamie. Sounds great. Awesome. I appreciate it. George. Hello, George. Love the red Parker. Thank you. It's actually, it looks very red right now, but it's actually what they call tangerine. Ooh, right there you can see it. Look at that orange. It looks like an orange juice drink. I just want to drink it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Last night we had the restring, the official restring. This guy was sitting around for a while. I hadn't played it, and I actually killed the battery and didn't realize it. And then when I went to check it out last night before the stream, I was like, oh, the battery's dead. Cool. I'll show everybody how we change that too. So if you own a Parker Fly and you missed last night's show and you want to see how quick it is to restring, or if you're thinking of buying one, you're eyeing them up on eBay and Reverb. That's the only place you can get them now, unfortunately. They are discontinued. Such a sad, sad thing. All right, let me see who else is hanging out here. I really like the sound of the guitar. Glad you are playing it today. Thank you. Yeah, this guitar is just monstrous. It goes from like nice, clean, crisp, beautiful tones to screaming leads and infinite sustain. It's really awesome. And then plus I can incorporate the guitar synths down here on the floor, and do these like padded things where I could play a chord. And then sustain it forever. And then just do a little improv over the top. It's cool. Cool guitar. A lot of fun with this guitar. Let's see. Ah, yes. Wendy. Thank you. So that was an original. That one I haven't done. Oh my God. In so long. I haven't done that song in probably over a year. And it's because I didn't use this guitar much. And I knew it needed to be restrung because it was slipping. So every time I thought, oh, I'll do Bleeding Heart. That's the name of the song, Bleeding Heart. I was like, oh, I didn't restring it yet. So last night's intent was to restring it and play Bleeding Heart. But we had the audio issue, so that went out the window. And I didn't practice. Oh my God. And I felt like I didn't practice. There was some clams in there, if you will. Oh yeah, this is neat. Wendy's last name in Ukrainian is Beekeeper. Wendy's Ukrainian, so there you go. Wendy's saying hello to George. Do it once a week. Yes. That's what I was starting to talk about. I will probably go once or twice a week, maybe more. I don't know. It depends on the schedule and what happens. I'm actually having a lot of fun. If you guys are enjoying this, it's great. We're having upwards of 20 people a night, and the replays are, it's being replayed, so there is an interest. Yeah, So we'll see. We'll see how the schedule and what allows. Yes. Um, it's fun to hear your stories and tips. Oh, thank you. Cool. Yeah. I've been playing for so long and playing live. There's stories that something will trigger, and I'm like, oh my god, I remember that. I got to talk about that tonight, or whatever. And Jamie's been around for some of them. Of course, my wife has. But oh, I'm looking. Okay, I'm looking. Oh, and sell me the marker. No. I will not sell the blue Parker. Surfer Boy, hello from Boston. Hello from New Jersey. Thanks for being here. Thank you everyone for being here. Yeah, they're going for insane prices now. Yeah, the Parkers are just off the charts. They're such awesome guitars though. But yeah, if you want one, you're going to be paying Paul Reed Smith prices. And you know what? They're worth it. Honestly, I really feel like they're even worth more than the Paul Reed Smiths. I like them better. I've played PRSs and Gibsons, and I have some Gibsons, which you could see. Hey, I'm pointing in the right spot over there. These are just a whole different breed. It's like Adrian Blue said, this is the Ferrari of guitars. And if anybody has ever played one, Jamie's played one. I have some other students that pop in and out of here. And once they play one, they're like, wow, like I didn't know a guitar could play like this. And you know what? No guitar can play like this except the Parker Fly, which is, it's just crazy. It's a whole different experience, this guitar. And I do know some people who hate it. I had a former guitar teacher, and they were like, take this back because it plays too easy. I'm going to hate all my other guitars. That's exactly what he said to me. So that was the end of that. He didn't want to ever play it again because it would ruin him for his other guitars. Oh, yeah, let's see. And I see, we'll put this up here. Oh, Jamie wanted to correct himself. for all the people who are crazy about the proper spellings and stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Whoop. Stop moving. Paul. What's Paul? Have you ever watched Roy Gallagher? The man Hendrix called the greatest guitar player. His Strat is amazing. Yes, I have seen Rory Gallagher. Not live, like to a show, but I've seen videos. Yeah, there's a couple of guys that are just really off the charts with the Strat stuff. And again, the Strat has its own sound. The Parkers have their own sound. Les Pauls have a very distinguished sound. It's their own thing. And it's a lot like people. You know, you have fingerprints on everybody. And these guitars all have different sounds. That's just the way it works, you know. Eddie Van Halen wanted to have the Les Paul sound, but he didn't like the body and he didn't like the feel, and he wanted a tremolo bar. And back then, there was no way to put a tremolo bar on a Les Paul, so he ripped the pickups out of the Les Paul and put them in and chopped up his Strat and made them fit. And that was the first Strat, Super Strat style guitar with a humbucker, and that's where these kind of guitars come into play. You know, they're just the souped up version of what came before. Yeah, let's see. George is saying hello. Different guitars can evoke songs sometimes out of nowhere. Yes, I'll sit down and I'll play completely different on, Les Paul as I do on this guitar. Same with the Strandbergs. The Strandbergs have their own tone to them. They play beautifully as well as the Parkers. They're probably the second closest to what a Parker feels like as far as speed and smoothness. This guitar is just so smooth to play. So I'll be doing a restring on the Strandberg and playing that some more this month as well. We're only on 13, day 13, so we got plenty of time for other guitars to come out. So I might be sticking with this one for a few days since I just restrung it and it's like the honeymoon and, you know, reacquainted and it's all of that. All of that and a bag of chips, man. Um, let's see. That's an old comment. Yeah, I know. I'm way behind here. Um, let's see. Where are we here? I didn't change any of my strings today's. It was too hot. Yeah, you know, it was pretty hot today. It was pretty hot. The town came by to cut down some trees or to trim them back. And he said, yeah, we're going to do these 3 trees. You know, he's knocking on my door at 10 in the morning to get approval. And I'm thinking, like, why do you need approval? It's a town tree. Go crazy. And he's like, no. We know you called about it, because we did call. But he said, you know, just in case, like, you're not the same people. He goes, like, people move. He's like, we've done this. This has happened before. Like, someone will call and say, come and take care of the trees. And then, you know, we're backed up, say, a month. And then they move. And then we start working. And the new people come running out. What are you doing to my trees? Stop cutting. I didn't ask for this. And they're like, yeah, you did. And they're like, no, we just moved in. And then there's a big argument. Anyway, so this guy's knocking on the door. And he's like, yeah, we're doing these 3 trees. Like, cool, great. Have at it. We wanted that. Like an hour or 2 later, it was probably 3 hours later, he comes back, he knocks on the door, he's like, yeah, it's pretty hot. We're going to wrap it up. I'll see you tomorrow morning. I was like, okay. You know, I don't think they were expecting it to be this hot today. So they were dressed fairly warm, you know, looking like they were ready to go, you know, I don't know, thinking it was going to be 36 degrees. But it wasn't. It was like 80. Gotta love that coffee. All right. Oops, there goes my pick. Good thing I have like 19 more up here. All right. So let's see. Who else is chatting up? But you should change your strings because you're going to love your guitar again. What does George have to say? Tell them your green... It's really called Brick Guitar. So... when I would stream from that side of the room, and George is the only one who noticed this, which is totally nuts. But when I would stream from that side of the room, and I would use the side camera, which was my laptop camera, okay, for some reason, that guitar literally looked like a Lego blocks in gold. Like, it didn't look green at all. And it's only from that camera. And it's only from that particular side. If I move it slightly, it doesn't do it. So I know that guitar has a, what's that called? Glow-in-the-dark style paint. So, you know, you need the black light and it glows. So I'm thinking it must be something with the paint and that camera lens. Because no other camera does it. But it looks like Legos. It's totally crazy. And I've tried to, like, recreate it here in front of this camera. And it doesn't work. Let's see. Mike says, gotta drive home. I'll be right back. Very good. Be careful. Don't listen and drive, please. Safe travels, yes. All right. I saw oh, geez. Let's try and read right. I saw a Dragon's Breath Parker Fly on Reverb for $17,000. I'm going to save up. Yeah, that guitar is pretty awesome. I don't think he's going to get $17,000 for it. No. But it is pretty awesome. And is that the one that had the green? Surfer Boy? Was that the one with the green? I'm pretty sure that was the one. There's another one up there. And I actually own that guitar. Not the one that's up there. I own one of the fall. So, let's rewind. Ken Parker got this idea to do a series of guitars, one for every season. So winter, spring, summer, and fall.
These might be what you're looking for.
Huh. Look at that. Siri is just finding stuff without me even asking her to do anything. Very weird. Oh, I bet you she thought Seasons was her name. Yeah, and started doing things. Anyhow, winter, spring, summer, fall. 4 seasons. So they're really beautiful guitars. And one of my students was looking for a Parker, and I found it at, what was that store? Alto Music. Or he found it at Alto Music, and I said, "Oh, I know this guy that works there." I said, "You're looking to sell your Les Paul." I said, "Bring the Les Paul and like a couple of $100 and go talk to Phil. And knowing Phil, he'll take your Les Paul and the couple $100 and just give you that guitar as a fair swap." He's like, "Really? I mean, like the guitar, the Les Paul isn't a customer or anything." I said, "Trust me. Phil is a classic kind of guy. He doesn't like tech and all of this fancy stuff." Well, about an hour later, my student calls me up and he's like, "You were right. I got the guitar." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Awesome. Congrats." So he had the guitar for a long time. And then I don't know how many years later he decided to sell it. And one day at the lesson, he showed up with that guitar and he said, "Look, I'm thinking of selling it. So why don't you try it and let me know, if I need to do anything to it." And I was like, "Okay." So I tried it out, played great, gave it back to him. And he goes, "I want to offer it to you first for exactly what I paid for it, like including the trade, because you got me the guitar. So before I put it on Reverb, I'd like to offer it to you." So I was like, "Wow, great." So I bought it. So I have that guitar. It's the autumn or fall, and it's on Reverb, and some guy's trying to get like, I don't know, something crazy for it, $20,000 or something. I mean, it's a beautiful guitar, but if I sold it, it wouldn't be for that much. Well, then again, I'm not going to sell it. And when I die, Wendy's going to sell it, and she could sell it for $25,000 or whatever she thinks she can get for it. Oh, man. All right, so let's see. Wendy was saying that we saw it. Yeah, it's got to be that green one with the burst. That was pretty hot. That's a cool guitar, but it's crazy money. Send some heat this way. I'd love to. It was too warm. It went from like reasonable to ridiculous. I mean, how there's no spring anymore. It's just like boom, summer. There you go. Andy Mag Morales. Hello. Hope you're still here. Let's see who else is hanging out. Let's see. Awesome looking guitar. Yes, Wendy, I might splurge for that guitar if I meet a nice. That's great. Yes, that's what you need. Or you got to hit the lottery, man. Then, like, who cares how much guitars are? Buy whatever you want. Let's see. Who else is hanging out? You're supposed to have snow on Tuesday. Ay, ay, ay. That's just crazy. All right, let's see. We have Paul with a question. Your opinion on replica guitars. I know you have the Randy Rhoads V. Me personally, I would never take it and do a show with it. Again, that's just me. Yeah, I have like certain rules or criteria for the gig where I would bring something like that. So if I'm playing a bar gig, I would never bring that Randy Rhoads guitar, nor would I bring the green gem or the 7-string. Now, when I first got the 7-string back in the late 90s, I think it was. No, it was probably around mid to late 90s. That was my main guitar, the black one back there. I used the 7-string, and I used the N4, the Nuno guitar, which is right next to it. Nope, next to the Randy Rhoads guitar. Those were my two main guitars. And I guess maybe you mean signature guitars and not replica guitars? Or do you mean replica guitars like the Randy Rhoads Concorde and the one-off type guitars like this, So those back there, those are all like signature guitars, and this as well. I would only bring these guitars to gigs if I knew the venue had a secure stage, not like I'm on the same floor as the people that are there, and that the stage wasn't accessible from the floor in the front, like a backstage, like a real venue place. Because I wouldn't want to get my guitar stolen. And the other thing I wouldn't want is for some drunk guy to come up on stage, which has happened, and start messing around with stuff. There's only been 2 instances where that has happened, and one, the guy picked up my guitar, and it took every bone in my body not to grab it and push him off the stage. Yeah, he was drunk and he was being a complete idiot, and he had it like one-handed, and he's like going, "Oh, I'm a rock star," and I was like, "All right, time to put the guitar down, buddy," So that was just really bad. And the other time, we just had a guy come up before we started playing, and he was just more irritating and holding up the stage process of setting up, but then he started like trying to grab stuff, and that's when we were like, all right, get lost, get off the stage, cut it out. And then about 20 minutes later, he started a bar fight and got his face planted on the bar by the bouncer and dragged out. So that was the end of him. People. It's like, you know what? Settle down on the alcohol. We're all here to have some fun. Don't ruin it. It was 91 today? Wow, no wonder why those guys were dying. They were like, we gotta go home. I never saw that in my life. He knocked on the door. He's like, yeah, we're wrapping it up. I'll see you tomorrow morning. We're not going to get to that other tree. I just wanted to let you know. We didn't think we were blowing you off. I mean, great guy. I mean, he didn't have to come and tell me they were leaving. But, it's not... You probably thought I would have called the town and said, hey, they were going to do 3 trees and they only did 2. But that was hilarious. His excuse was it was just too hot. And it was. It was brutal. Let's see, who else is... Hey, Straight Out of Serotonin is here. What's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for hanging. And Replica. Okay. Yeah, so the Randy Rhoads is a replica guitar, of course, because it's Randy's. And Randy only has Randy's. And there were only 50 of these made. There were only 777 made of the green Ibanez gem for that year. And then after the green guitar, they put out other colors, and that was fine. Some of those are very sought after too, but that green and with the pink pickups is like the Steve Vai guitar. And I wouldn't play really a gig with that guitar unless we were like doing like a tribute to the 80s kind of a gig, and it was like at a venue. That's when I would bring like the Randy Rhoads guitar. So if we played any Ozzy tunes, I would use the Randy Rhoads guitar. If we played like old school David Lee Roth, I would use the green gem. If we played Extreme, I would use the Nuno guitar. So that sort of thing. If we played any David Bowie, because David Bowie had Reeves Gabriel's on guitar, who used the Parker Fly, and Adrian Blue, who used the Parker Fly. So that's when I would take a bunch of guitars, and it would probably be more of a show. In fact, I know it would be a show, if we were to do something like that. And I would use those guitars. I might even go one step further and say I'd get wigs and wear a long blonde wig for the Randy stuff and a black wig for the Vi stuff, just to make it fun, and be goofy. Because it's 80s stuff, and if you're going to put on a show, I feel there's too many bands that just go out and play and they stand there and it's like they look bored. They're wearing shorts. That drives me nuts. I had a couple people in the band that I said, if you don't stop wearing shorts, you're out. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't want you to look like the guy who's drinking the beer at the bar. We're the band. We're the entertainment. You look like you just came in from doing landscaping. Sorry, that doesn't work with me. All right, let's see what else is going on before I go off on these tangents. Yeah, crazy. No spring anymore. Yep, right from 30 to 40 degrees to 91 here in New Jersey. Hey, Archie, Rockstar Vince. Hey, from Tennessee. Hello. Thanks for hanging. Again, I'm going to keep pushing my Twitch channel because I'm really liking the way it's working out over there. And let's see, how's it looking? How's it looking over there? Looks good to me. Looking good. Oops. That's yesterday's video. There we go. That's today's video. All right. Just making sure. Well, Wendy and all you guys are on it. So, but yeah, if you have a Twitch account, go hang out over there, please. It helps me out with making a couple bucks. It's coffee money. You know, it's nothing crazy, but I've been streaming since 2018, and YouTube and Facebook have paid me zilch. And I'm not doing it for the money, but with this situation, I could make a couple of bucks. You know, it'll pay for like some extra picks and strings. It's not a killing. It's not a lot of money, but it's just the principle. I've been bringing people to their platforms, and I get zilch. That's not cool. Let's see, who else is hanging out? I put air tags that I've disconnected the chirp in all mine. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's a good idea. I've seen actually a couple of luthiers that are offering that service to put, like, to actually drill out a section in the guitar underneath, like, the back plate. So you still wouldn't see it. It would be under the plate. So you'd have to take that plate off, and then the way they do it, they refill it nice, and it looks like wood. So that's a pretty cool idea, to put the air tag underneath the back plate and then in a slot that still looks like wood. So that way if the guitar gets stolen, you can locate it. Oh, no. That must have been from before. About the, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, the drunk guys jumping on stage. Yeah. Never touch a guitar without asking. Exactly. Let's see. I've had drunks come up and try to play my bass before. Yeah, it's not cool, you know. Happened to Paul. I think it happens to everybody. Again, thankfully I didn't have so many, oh my God, tell them the TalkBox story. So, I don't know if anybody knows the TalkBox, but it's the Peter Frampton sound for why can't I think of the name of the song? But anyway, TalkBox. It's a tube that goes and connects to the microphone on the side. You just wire tie it or something up there. And then you put like about an inch sticks out from the microphone, and you put that in the corner inside your mouth. And the trick with the TalkBox is you don't talk. It's called a TalkBox, but you actually don't talk. You form the vowels and the words with your mouth. So you kind of have to practice not saying words, but forming them. So like if I was to say hello, I'd have to practice. Like, it's weird, but that's how it works. So now, TalkBox, the sound comes from your amp through this tube into your mouth, and you can say cool things or whatever. This guy gets on stage, and he puts his mouth on my TalkBox. On the friggin' hose, I wanted to die. I couldn't believe it. That was that. I went home. I had to boil the hose. I didn't use it for the rest of the night. Oh my God, I was so mad. I would love a replica of John Frusciante's 62 Strat. Yeah, those are cool. You know, all of those old Strats are cool. I have a guitar that I'm working on. It was Wendy's brother's guitar, my brother-in-law, Eric. And it started out as a 1980-ish Fender Strat that looked exactly like Ritchie Blackmore and Yngwie's Strat. And something happened to the neck, and he wanted a humbucker in it, so he took it to a guy, who knows what music store, and if I'm not going to mention any, but he took it to the store, and the guy wound up ripping out the pickup and drilling holes and putting in a humbucker. And then he said, oh, your neck has a lot of fret wear, so, it's going to cost a lot of money to get the frets fixed. So I'm just going to give you a replacement neck. And he put a Telecaster neck, by a no-brand Telecaster neck, on the guitar. Ugh, it's just terrible. So I bought all the parts. So now I finally have all the parts, and I've been trying to find some time to put this thing together. Maybe that's what I'll do on one of the streams. I'll put the guitar together. Probably be like an 8-hour stream. It'll take all day. But that guitar is going to be awesome, because when I was a kid, I loved Ritchie Blackmore, and I really wanted that Strat. And my dad's friend worked for CBS, and he was always, he'd come over like once a month. He's like, I'm trying to get you a Fender Strat. I'm trying to get you a Strat. And I got all excited, and he never got me the Strat. So I was really disappointed. But anyway, yeah, so we're way back. I'm like totally back. I'm going to have to jump. Do you play... What's this? Do you play music for a living? Yes, I do. I actually teach. 90% of my living is teaching. There, Vince'sLessons.com. I'll get that down eventually, which side to point to. So yes, I teach. And I play gigs, but since the pandemic, I've only played like 1 or 2 gigs. Actually, 1 gig. Yeah. Everything else has been live on live streaming. But I'm going to start. I'm going to start playing again eventually. I saw you in a blonde wig. Yes. That was for Halloween one year. I dressed up, put the blonde wig on, broke out my Jackson Crackle guitar, and did the whole 80s thing. Or are you a doctor or a scientist or something? No. Not that cool. My goodness. Due to our recent memory chats, I listened to Yngwie for the first time in a long time. Wow. Question. Pros and cons of scalloped frets. Well, now that I saw this, so here's what was going on with that Ritchie Blackmore-ish Strat. So if you have a light touch, then scalloped frets are for you. Because what happens is, and then this is like why I love these guitars, because I have a light touch. So when I press down, now we're going to get all nerdy and technical here, but you'll understand in a second. So if you press down too hard, and this is definitely something that most beginners do, even into intermediate, is they'll press too hard, and then they'll wonder why their guitar sounds out of tune. And then they'll go to tune up, and when they look at the open strings, they say they're in tune. The tuner says they're in tune. But when they play chords, they sound out of tune because they're killing it. They're pressing down. Did you hear that? Did you hear how it wobbled? Listen. I'm pressing down real hard. Now this is what happens. I'll just do one string. I'm just pressing straight down real hard. So everything goes sharp. So I have a super light touch, and due to these guitars, the way they are built, they're easy to play. So they stay in tune extra well because of the whole design. But here's the thing, with scalloped frets, for people who don't know, is every fret, let's get to the closer camera. There we go. Every fret has a dip. So it looks like this between the metal. There's a dip, okay? And the frets are scalloped out. So now when you press down, it's almost like a teaspoon. Here we go. So you have this dip in the fret, and when you press down, the string goes into the dip, and everything can sound sharp and out of tune. So if you don't have a light touch, I don't recommend a scalloped fretboard. So I wouldn't scallop a guitar thinking it's going to be a good idea until trying one. And with all of the great companies out there, I believe you have like 30 to 45-day return policy on most of the .com places now. So you could get yourself an Yngwie Strat, see if you like the scallops, send it back, and then scallop one of your guitars. There you go. So that's my advice. And the pros and cons are basically that if you don't press lightly, it'll always sound out of tune and you'll hate it. Yes. Oops. George said goodnight like 20 minutes ago, but he probably watched the replay. So good night, George. All right. Wow, nice until you have to change the battery. Yeah. But the way he does it is that compartment for the AirTag opens up. So it's not like it's stuck in there forever. You just have to unscrew the back plate and then go in and open up the little cool thing that he made, and boom, you're in. Just change it up. All right, I think I'm caught up with questions. Let's scan through here. So, you might not see what I'm looking at. I'm looking at comments from 4 platforms: 2 Facebook pages, YouTube, and Twitch. So you may be looking at it going, oh, there's only like 3 comments here. But I have a software where everything comes in a row, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. So let's see who is... Phantom Live, yes. Do you feel like we do? And then he had another one. There were 2 with the talk box. I can't remember the other one. And then John Bon Jovi, of course, with Living on a Prayer, I think it was. That was another cool one with the talk box. Let's see. Amy, what is the age range that you teach? I teach from age 6 to age whatever. I had a parent bring their kid, say he's just been asking about guitar, so we're going to buy him an electric and see how it goes. And I think he was 5 or 6, and he loved it, and we went through just... I teach everybody differently, of course. A 6-year-old, I'm not going to teach him scales and crazy stuff. But, get them playing something, anything, because at that age, you just want them to have fun. And then I've had people come to me. I'll never forget this one guy. I forgot his name because it was like in 1987 or something. But he came in, he had an acoustic guitar, and he said, 1 year from today, I'm going to be retired, and I'm moving to Florida. And I want to be able to sit in the sand, feet in the sand, beer in the sand, with my guitar, and play some tunes. And I was like, okay, cool. And we went over stuff for probably close to a year, and he finally moved and went off into retirement. And so, it's all good. Like, whatever age, it's never too late to learn either. I mean, if you want to do it, it's up to whoever wants to start. If I always say, don't discourage a kid from playing. If they're showing some kind of interest, let them play. Buy them a cheap guitar. Expect it to get beat up because they're kids. Don't buy them anything good. There's plenty of $100 guitars out there. And let them have fun. I'll just teach them like maybe some 1-string riffs, which I did like the first few nights and never did them again. But, like I would teach them like a 1-string riff and just move it around, or just power chords and just sit there and tell them, look, just play this. And it sounds like music right away. So that's the whole point, is you want them to be able to play. Oh, that's a little noisy. Let's stop that. You want them to be able to play and have fun, and in time at least. Okay? So in time, learn some rhythm, nothing crazy, and then they'll start doing it on their own. And I also tell parents, like, look, don't get them into this, like, you gotta practice and yell at them, because that's what my, my dad did at the beginning. He's like, if you're gonna learn guitar, because I wanted to play, and he's like, I'll buy you a guitar, but if you're gonna play guitar, you're going for lessons, which was the greatest thing ever, really. You know, even though my dad was kind of a tough guy about it, you're gonna learn the right way. You know, you gotta just do this. You're gonna do it right. And I have a friend, and he sent me to his good friend Vic Senicola, who is a well-known jazz guitar player, and at least in New Jersey. Guy was great, still is great. I'm pretty sure he's still alive. Wendy and I went and saw him play probably close to 10 years ago now, but yeah, he taught me a lot of stuff. He also taught me that at a very young age, if I came unprepared, it was the end of the lesson. So he had no patience for if you didn't practice. I learned from that lesson to make sure I was always prepared. But as a teacher, I also learned how crappy that made me feel. So I really try not to push people too hard. But I do make it known that that happened to me. So that way, if they come unprepared, I tell them the story and say, look, I'm not going to throw you out of the lesson, because that's what he did. He's going, go home, go, goodbye, done, leave. I go down the stairs with my guitar like this. My mom's sitting out and, you know, waiting for me in the car. You were only up there 10 minutes. What's going on? Oh, I didn't practice my lesson last week, and he sent me home. Oh, great. Wait till your dad hears this one. Oy, oy, oy. So, yeah, that was the last time I went unprepared. Yeah. But I let people know that. I'm like, look, I'm not going to throw you out, but you need to practice, or what's the point, you know? But not to a 6-year-old. We just have fun. Jamie. Oh, man, thanks. Vince is a great teacher. Helped me so much. Highly recommend him. Thank you, Jamie. Awesome. I think I'm blushing. Thanks, Vince, for the info. Always been curious. Yeah, and, you know, I honestly love that Yngwie Strat. So getting back to that real quick, I almost bought a scalloped neck for this Strat that I'm trying to restore back to somewhat of a nice-looking 80s, late 70s Strat. It's got the big headstock. I bought that. I bought all official Fender parts. I didn't go and get, like, third-party garbage. I figured, you know what, if I'm going to do it, I want it back to the way it was before the knucklehead at the music store took my brother-in-law for a ride and screwed it up on him. A couple of my retailer buddies, one is Mike Friedman over at Sam Ash. He got me the official single coil on the white pickguard. And what else did he get me for that guitar? He got me something else. And then my buddy over at Sweetwater, Caleb, hooked me up with the proper neck and a couple of other little... That's hilarious. Caleb, yes. Yes, and Mike too. I mean, you've bought stuff from Mike. Mike is awesome too. Vince teaches bass too. I do teach bass. I also taught drums. Yeah, I've had drum lessons with people. Even during the pandemic, I had a couple of drum lessons that I had the cameras on the drum set and would do beginner drums. But I'm not a big fan of teaching drums and bass really anymore. I love guitar. I love teaching guitar. Obviously, I love talking about guitar. So it's definitely my home. But if I have a couple of people that want to learn bass or drums, I'll do it. So let's see. Oh, Jamie's taking off. All right, Jamie, thanks for being here. Thanks again for hanging out. And if you get a minute and you figure out that whole Twitch thing, that would be awesome. It would really help me out. And again, since we're talking about that, anybody who has a Twitch account and a Amazon Prime account, please sign up and follow and subscribe. But subscribe through your Prime, Amazon Prime account, because I'll get some money from Jeff Bezos. It'll be free for you, and I'll make a couple of bucks, and I can buy coffee and guitar picks. All right. So Mike is back. Well, you gave me enough tools to work with. Yes. Mike is an excellent bass player, and he is now going to college for music. And now I'm here. Yes, sir. How's the audio and video looking? Is everything still matching up? Yeah. Let's see. I'm in sync. Nice. I actually did a guitar clinic with the bass player who played for NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and a couple of other of those type bands. Um, Ace. Ace Livingston. What a bass player. Man, we did some great stuff. We had a clinic somewhere in Connecticut. I don't think Paul was at that one, and I can't remember the name of the store. It was a really cool store. Well, we did a few clinics. It was like a clinic run in that Boston area in Connecticut, and Ace Livingston had his band, and then I would do my thing with the Parkers. He would do his thing with, I think he was with Washburn for basses, or he was with Eden Amplifiers. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Eden Amplifiers. And at the end of the clinic, I would go up after I did my thing with the backing tracks, and I'd go up and play with his band live. And then one night we were at a hotel that we were staying at, and there was a band in the bar that was in the hotel, a cover band, and we wound up sitting in, but we kind of took over the gig. And the cover band was like, just keep going. So we wound up playing the whole night, and we were just improvising all kinds of funk and jazz. It was awesome. I wasn't really doing the jazz bits. I was doing mostly the funk. And anytime they did anything jazzy, I just kind of hung out in the wings, because jazz at the time, my God, that was probably 2004. I wasn't really playing anything jazzy back then. I had a lot of distortion, though. They liked it. They were like, this is cool. It was like jamming out over their funk grooves. Wendy had something to say. Yes, that's right. I am offering a lesson promotion. So I'm doing a 45-minute lesson for $45. So if anybody wants to do something like that, just send me a message. You could message me through the website or Facebook. But yeah, just go to the contact page, fill out the contact, and say, hey, I'd like to take you up on that April special for $45. If you reach out to me in May, I'm not going to do it. So the price will be normal lesson price. But for now, we're going to do $45 for 45 minutes. I think a half hour is too quick, especially for people who are like advanced-ish beginner or a little more into it than beginner, just above beginner. Absolute beginner, a half hour is good, but it still goes a little quick. So 45 minutes. Most music stores in the area are offering a half hour for $40. I'm giving you a whole extra 15 minutes for $5 more. So, and I know a lot of my guitar teaching peers are charging $100 an hour. I don't charge that much, but it's definitely not $45. So, there you have it. Let's see. Mike says, you're good. Awesome. So, yep. All right. In sync. Surfer Boy says everything's cool. Nice. All right. So let's see. We're pushing an hour and 12. Okay, cool. Yeah, 45 for 45 is good. I think it's fair. You know, like I said, most music stores with, you know, a teacher that's had my experience probably charge 60 for a half hour. But you know, I'm just going to do the whole 45 for 45 for the month of April. If you don't have time to do it in April, but you sign up for it, I will do it in May or June. You got that locked in. It's all yours. But just come May, I'm not going to be offering that anymore. So, 100 an hour better include wine and dine. Yes. Well, yeah. You'll bring your own wine because it'll be online, and you can bring your own food. Yes. Yeah, you know, that's kind of the going rate for some of the guys that I've been talking to. I've been asking them, like, what do you guys charge? You know, and they're like, oh, definitely 100 an hour, you know, for Skype lessons. And I was like, wow, I'm a little too cheap. That's okay. Let's see. So we still have 19 people on. So you guys and gals out there that aren't chatting up, say hi. The community is very fun. They're fine people here. No one is, you know, it's all good. Let's see. What did Mike say? I like to teach bass, but no one plays bass. Oh, yes they do. And we need more bass players, trust me. Everybody wants to play guitar. Sad, yes. It is sad. And I think it's more so that I think a lot of people just don't play instruments as much as they used to anymore. There's too many distractions because of this thing. All the video games. Yeah. Let's see, who else is hanging out? What brands of picks do I prefer? What brand of picks do you prefer? Okay. Well, I have these picks that I have made. I made these are custom picks. Let's move this out of the way so you can see it. It's by a company called Intune. It has my face on it, jamming out, and my initials. But these picks are a little thicker than normal. A friend of mine calls them manhole covers that I used to work with years ago. He's like, good grief, dude, you play with manhole covers. So they're real thick. I think they're 2.5. I can't remember. They're definitely heavy, extra heavy, compared to a Fender heavy, and the point is much like my old favorite pick, the Jazz 3. Let's move it over in front of the red. So it's or in front of my hand. Look at that. So that's a Jazz 3. This is a Jazz 3. Friend of mine in high school. This is a whole nother story. He made me this pick. I was moving to California to play in a band, and I had a going away party, and he took a pick or two, and when he graduated high school, him and his brother opened the jewelry business in New York. So he stole some picks and made me this pick and mailed it to me in California. And for a while, I was actually playing with it. Like, he didn't put the bail on it to put around a chain. And then I was like, dude, I'm going to lose this thing. We need to put a bail on it. So when I got back to New York, he set me up. And I haven't taken it off since. So yes, Jazz 3s are one of my favorite picks. They're very pointy. They're good for the articulation. And I don't like a pick that flexes so much, because what winds up happening is it's an extra move. So when you hit the string and the pick bends, it's just more effort that you have to put in. So I really like a pick that doesn't move. So these Jazz 3s are really great for that kind of stuff. So, you know, when you're doing faster stuff. But recently, one of my students from many years ago in 2004 gave me this pick in 2004. And it's by a company called V-Pix. And the guy that made it, his name is Vinny. And these picks are awesome because they're beveled. Oh, let's get it over here. I don't know if you could see that. The edges, yeah, there it is. You could see that they've got this little bevel to them. And my goodness, these are super fast and super clean. And I used it to practice. And then I would go to my picks for gigs. And I didn't want to take it to a gig because it's clear and I would lose it. And I didn't even know if the guy was still in business. And I never looked him up until about a month ago. And this pick is super fast too. So those are cool. So then I found it, and I called them up. His name is Vinny. He's a really nice guy. And he makes newer ones. That one's hard to see. We'll go with this guy. So this is the replacement for the one that I have that's made now. And it's really thick. And it's beveled. But the cool thing about these picks is when you have this pick, which is your standard pick that I have, right? You have the point on one side and the round edges. He came up with a really good idea. If you drop your pick at a gig and you pick it up, you actually have to pick it up and situate it so you can find the point and play. With his pick, you pick it up and every side is a point. So you could just pick it up and not have to worry about it and play. These are like crazy. So these are a lot thicker and they glide really nice. So that's why I like these picks. Now, I know people are like, oh, well, I don't shred, so I don't need that pick. But here's the thing. If you play rhythm guitar and you're using the thin picks, which is good because you don't hear as much of the pick on a clean guitar when it's the thin. But you kind of do because when it picks, it's kind of like, brr, you know? With this, it's gliding. So you don't hear the pick as much as you think you would because it's an extra heavy pick. So again, I like these extra heavy picks. Let's see. There's a couple of questions that went by. What brand of picks do you use? Yes. Hey, Jimmy Mac just jumped on. Hello, hello. Here it is. Oh, it moved. Stop moving. There we go. Another question. How's the arthritis these days? Any recommendations? So I never really got diagnosed with arthritis, but it probably is or was. And it was probably a little bit of carpal tunnel and a combination of that with, what's that called? Tennis elbow every now and then. So I bought a brace. I bought those, Wendy actually got me those compression gloves. And recently, I found a company, what was it? Wendy found, actually, the company, it's like a cream. And I think it's like a hemp oil or something. And you just rub it in. That's really good. But I haven't, thankfully, haven't, knock on wood, had any real problems in a really long time. Yeah, it was CBD oil, yes. And it really helped. But here's the thing. It was probably, I don't even know how long ago it was now. Wendy might know if she's still on. Let's say 6 years ago. we were at one of the Steve Vai shows, and before the show, we got to hang out with him. And that's actually how I found out about these picks, because Steve did a little chat, and he did some playing, and he put the pick down on the table, and I was like, "Hey, you forgot your pick." And he's like, "Ah, just keep it." So I was like, "Cool." So I kept the pick, and on the little top corner it said "in tune." So I looked them up, and that's how I got these picks. But at the same show, I guess that week I might have been having some cramps. So I said, "What do you do about hand problems? Like, have you ever had any major hand problems?" Oh, yeah. And then also, forgot all about this, celery juice. Celery juice was amazing. It took about probably 4 to 6 months. I don't remember. But in the mornings, I would wake up and my fingers would be really stiff. And we got doing celery juice. I think it was back in 2019 we started doing celery juice. And just one morning I woke up and I was like, my hands aren't stiff. And one of the reasons why I started drinking it was because of the effects it had on just everything: skin tone, blood pressure, arthritis, or joint issues, anything like that. So yeah, so basically what I did was I laid off guitar, didn't play as much, started doing the celery juice, wore the compression gloves, and honestly I kind of have a routine, and it hasn't happened in a while where I've had pains where I'm like, I just can't play today. The other thing is, talking to Steve, Mr. Steve Vai, I asked him, have you ever had hand problems? And he said, yeah, occasionally. And what he did was he bought a magnetic bracelet, and he has these 2 silver bracelets that he would wear. And if you look at pictures or anything, you'll see he has these bracelets most of the time on. And he said that ever since he wore those, the magnetic frequency or the magnetic pull stopped his carpal tunnel. So I thought, okay, I think I'll do that. I'll try it, but we never went that road because I was already doing this other stuff and I was getting some results. The other thing was, he just said, and then there's just days where I just lay off. He's like, there's just literally times where you just have to stop. He said, and that's what I do, especially with touring. He said the first week or month that he's playing tours or in the tour, he's starting to build up. So what he does is, this is kind of cool. He would use 7s or 7.5 gauge strings at the front of the tour, so it would be easier on his hands. And then he would switch to 8s, then to 9s, and that's the highest he would go. So that's another trick that I learned from Mr. Steve Vai, is if you're having issues, just drop the gauge of strings and you won't have as many problems. And I did that too. I went down to 8s on some of my guitars. This guitar has 9s, and the Parkers are just so crazy easy to play that I didn't put 8s on this one, but I do have 8s on my blue one that I played the other night. Hey, Dog Paw. How's it going? Was just lurking, but got the same V pick right here. Nice. That is my favorite pick. Vinny is a cool dude, absolutely. I've talked with him a few times. Been on V picks for years. Yeah, so back to the story with my student. I had this V pick for since 2004. And I reached out to this particular student recently, before I got back into, the V-Picks. And I said, hey, man, I still have that V-Pick that you gave me all those years ago. And are they still in business? Do you use them? And he's like, oh, yeah, they're big now. So I looked them up online, and then I called them, and Vinny called me back. He was a really cool dude. We wound up talking forever. Yeah. Good guy. definitely a good guy. Let's see what else. I had arthritic hips. Had them both replaced. Now I'm a great dancer. Nice. Oh yes. Yeah, you might want to try the celery juice. You know, it worked for me. I think the bracelets sound more appealing than celery juice. 26 years of tattooing have destroyed my hands. Yes. Yeah. You know, my dad used to be in a draftsman. And before that, he was a hairdresser. He would cut hair for a living. So he used his hands all the time. He also played accordion. So, always using his hands. Wound up having both wrists operated on within months apart. So he had carpal tunnel syndrome really bad. And there was nothing else for him because it just got to the point where he had to have that done. But the celery juice, it's definitely not easy. All right, so you got to buy a lot of celery and you got to have a really good juicer. So you can't skimp. You can't buy like a $50 juicer. It's not going to work. You're going to be wasting more celery and wondering like, where's all the juice? It's not giving me juice. It's just giving me like this much juice. So you need a really good juicer. The juicers are expensive. The celery isn't too expensive, but it takes a while. So you have to get up extra early. It's best if you do it first thing in the morning. And it's best if you're around the bathroom for a little while. Especially the first bunch of months. Probably the first month of doing it. Your body is like not used to that much juice. So just letting you know. Letting you know. Yes. Celery juice, huh? I just learned something. Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. I think it worked for me. I've been slacking. I really should get back to doing it. But thankfully, I haven't had really too many issues. My one finger, my pointer, is getting a little annoying lately. But it's been good. Let's see. Really try the celery juice. It's amazing. So cool. Amy knows all about it. Yeah, so. They do make 9.5 strings. I've tried them. Feel closer to 10 than 9s. Yeah, I'm not a fan of I used to use 11s on one of my electrics. Actually, that Cort that I got back from Matt, when I first got my second guitar, I read somewhere that if you use 11s and you go to a guitar with like 8s or 9s, it'll improve your playing. So I would practice on the Cort with 11s and then go to my Kramer, which had 8s because of Edward Van Halen and 8s, and that was the whole thing. So I was like, yeah, Eddie uses 8s, I'll use 8s, and then I'll use 11s on my other guitar because Randy uses 10s and 11s on his guitars. So I was like, okay, cool. Les Paul had the 11s, the Stradish, fancy Kramer thing had the 8s, and it seemed like it was working. But then I started really liking the Cort and thought, well, I can't play gigs with 11s on it. It's killing my hand. So I switched. Yeah. That V pick with the holes drilled in it looks like a good pick. Yeah. You see that one. This one. Whoops. There it is. So this is a little thinner than the other ones. And it feels good. And I use this one too. It's got a nice feel to it. And it sounds great. The other thing is like, people don't realize that a lot of your tone comes from the pick, the strings, and the way you hit the guitar. So just check this out. We're going to do a little thing here that freaks people out usually the first time I do this. So here's a V pick, and we're going to drop it. Okay. Here's my pick, and we're going to drop it. Totally different tone. Here's a Jazz 3 pick. We'll drop that one. Whoops. Got stuck. different tone. Check this thing out. This is a pick by a company called Cool Picks. It has a grip on it so you don't drop it. It's like a silicone. It's weird. It's not like sandpapery feeling. It's a smooth feel. Listen to the difference of this pick now. Right? Listen to the V pick, the thicker one, the new one. So every pick has a different tone. Now when you hit the strings with these picks, it's going to actually sound different. So you have to kind of figure out what you like, okay? The picks make a difference, the strings make a difference, and the way you hit it makes a difference. So there you go. Let's see. Get back here. Amy, you're hilarious. Yes, that would work. That's what it does. The juicer is called the cold press juicer. Yes. So that way, oh my God, it's hilarious. Okay. And yes, preferably organic, but not necessary. And that's the other thing. I would wash the celery every day. So, you know, it's a process. It takes a while. It kind of became therapeutic and relaxing, to be honest with you. A little weird, I know, but what can you do? I'm a little strange. All right, anyway, let's see. What's next? Do you still drink celery juice? How about a V8? No, I've been slacking, and I really need to get back to it. Holes do make it easier to grip, especially on the triangle picks, as the engraving on them makes the triangle ones feel off-center. Oh, yeah, and this one, the triangle one, has a hole in the center. It's really hard to see. But there it is. Not that hard to see. There's a hole in the center there. So that way you can kind of feel with your thumb. That's the side that should be on the thumb side. And then the words are on the finger side. Yeah. And all of his newer ones have that. So like this thing is like a Chinese star. I can like fling it at a drunk guy trying to play my guitar and take his eye out. Yeah, that's a little graphic, right? Okay, I would never do that. But here, that has the hole in it, and look at that bevel. I mean, it's like insanely pointed. It is pretty dangerous. It's kind of sharp. And then the words are on the other side, which you can't see. And this pick is called the Screamer. He's got such crazy names for his picks. So this one is definitely a screamer for sure. Yeah, this one doesn't agree with me so much because of the points. I'm getting stuck and I'm making a lot of mistakes. But I really do like the smaller one. And then there's this one, which is a little thinner. And this one is called what? What's this one called? This one has a cool name to it, too. It's hard to see. But there it is. Let's see if we can see it in the camera. I still can't read it. Anyway, this one's good. I like this one. It's a little bigger than the other guy, which you can see. Right? It's a little bigger. And it's a little thinner. So if you like a thinner pick, I wish I could see the name of this thing and let you know what it's called. It's just too dark. I'm going to blind everybody. Oh, it's just called a medium light. No fancy name. V-Pix medium light. Alrighty. There you have it. Medium light V-pick. The small, I think this is... What's this guy? This guy, I think, has a special name, too. Does it have a special name? Nope, I was right. It's just V-pick small. Yep. And then that other one, the Shredder, the Screamer. Yeah, Screamer. That's cool. All right. Let's see. Any questions here? Let's see. Hey, Ruffalo09. Have some cool picks. Thank you. Different point thickness. All my different types of V-picks make different tones. Yep, for recording, the acrylic ones can cause a chirp. Yep, which we heard with the Screamer. It's all kinds of chirping going on there, and then I was getting stuck. Depending on what, where is it? I'm a little too far away tonight. What you are doing, Gravity has a softer type. Yeah, okay. Again, you just drop the picks on the desk and you can hear the different tones. You know, that's one. So those are V-picks. Those sound a certain way. Here's the Cool Pick Company. Listen to theirs. Theirs is extremely different. You know, and here's the Jazz 3s. That has a different tone. Here's the one I use that I had custom made by Intune. That has a different tone. So yeah, the picks are important. I need a pick holding lesson because I suck. Oh, that's great. You don't need a pick. Play bass. Knew a guy that used some kind of celery oil for health boost. Yeah, well, it all around, like, the celery juice has a lot of good qualities to it. Not just for arthritis. Question, are pinch harmonics either with... Wait, let's read that again. Are pinched harmonics either with the beveled picks? Well, I can do them, definitely. Let's see, where are we here? Beveled pick. Where did it go? Here it is, over here. Easier. Easier. Not either. Got it. Easier. Duh. Thank you for clearing that up. I would guess they are. Let's put a little less gain. Let's see if we get it. I'll probably get them all on the first try. Yeah, it's just because I'm so used to it. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so that's every pick that I just played the harmonics with. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it's all in the thumb, to be honest. So like when I'm picking, I hold the pick very close to the tip. So here's your picking lesson, Mike. So I always hold the pick close to the tip for a lot of reasons. You get more control. It's like if and when I played baseball for like 30 seconds and I hated it. And they always told me to choke up on the bat, you know, to get close to the choke up on the bat. And I was terrible at baseball. But, you know, it was like the cool thing to do. You know, my dad loved baseball. He wanted me to do it. So I tried it for a while. Anyhow, choke up on the bat, choke up on the pick. If you use less pick, or I should say, if you hold it closer to the tip instead of way back here like this, all right? If you hold the pick that far away, you're going to get a lot of flex in the pick, and then you're going to have some inaccuracies. And then when you try and do a pinch harmonic, you're going to have to choke up on the pick, because that's the only way. The way you get pinch harmonics is the side of your thumb and the pick have to hit at the same time. So like, so basically over here is where the harmonic is starting to happen by your thumb hitting just in front of where the pick is. So if I was to show you an example of playing a note, So now I'm lightly touching and picking the string. Now if I move that over, it's going to be a different pitch. So now you have to kind of feel those around and get used to where they are. And when you move, then you can get those cool harmonics all the time. Actually, sometimes they happen, and I don't want them to happen because I'm too close to the tip of the pick. Yeah. Let's see. Guy gave me a tiny mandolin pick one time. He swore by them for guitar. My impression, meh. Yeah, you know, I know which ones you're talking about. I think they're like the Fender Teardrop, or they were made for mandolin. They were made by Fender, and they're tiny. And you know who plays with those? Steve Lukather. Steve Lukather plays with those tiny little picks. It's totally wacky. I can't play with those teardrops. They're too small. These are a little bit bigger, so you probably hate this too. This is the Jazz 3. And then this is bigger than the Jazz 3, but Vinny recommended this pick as a replacement or something close to a Jazz 3. So that's why I have these, and I like those a lot, actually. The V-Pick Small. Let's see. Question, do you prefer different picks with different guitars you play? No, I'm kind of like all about consistency. So maybe because I've been bored with my playing for a while, I've been venturing out and trying some new picks just to try. But literally since the 80s, all I've used is this little Jazz 3 pick. Hence the friend making the gold pick and all of that fun stuff. He actually had him and his brother engraved the back, and it says, "To Vince, get a real job." From Anthony and Albert. But yeah, that's been my pick like forever, is this Jazz 3. And then I ventured out and got these other picks made, and they were a tiny bit bigger, and I also made them in the small size, which there's none on the desk right now. Oh, that was the one I dropped earlier, didn't I? Where did it go? It's lost forever. Ah, here it is. So this is a smaller version, which is a lot like the same size as the Jazz 3. So those two have been my favorites until I got reacquainted with my V-Pick. Yeah. My picking tone is all thumb. The fingers just get in the way. You know what? Jeff Beck played with his thumb and his first finger and the other fingers, and I remember I saw him play at Waterloo Village in New Jersey in 1997. Jeff walks out on stage and he's playing, and I was like kind of close, and I was like, he's using a pick. That's weird, because even back then he was known for using his fingers. He's using a pick, and literally like not even halfway into the song, he drops the pick, and he walked up to the microphone and he goes, "And that's why I stopped using a pick." And then he proceeded to melt faces with his fingers, and that was the end of that. He didn't pick up the pick, and he never used it for the rest of the show. But that was hilarious. Let's see. The Physics. Then you can play the opening of White Wedding. Yes. Oh, yes. Thought that would get more laughs. No, it did. I just didn't see it. Let's see. I can do a lot with fingers. The index holding the pick gets all tore up. Yeah. Yeah, you got to watch. I mean, you know, you're hitting metal with your bare fingers. Of course you're going to get some damage on yourself there. So, all right, everybody. I'm going to call it a night. It's a little late. I didn't realize what time it was until 2 seconds ago. So, holy cow. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow. And we'll continue our hang for the rest of the month. I think toward the end of the month, I'm going to have Mike Plays Bass on. And we're going to do a little jam to some of my originals. And show off the pedal board that I helped him build with the FM3 and the Atom bass preamp. It'll be cool. So you guys and gals have a great night. I really appreciate everybody hanging out. I also appreciate everybody who's subbed and given subs away. I saw that in the what's that called? The analytics there. That was really cool. So thanks for giving subs to people. That's really awesome. Again, if you have a Twitch account or care to help out and want to make one, it takes 30 seconds. If you have a Prime account, use your Prime account to subscribe to me for free, and I'll make a couple of bucks and I could buy more of Vinny's guitar picks. Yeah, everybody wins. Me, you, and Vinny too. That was, oh my God. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. But bump. Good night, everybody. I'm getting stupid. Bye-bye.